Hello everyone and welcome back to De-Influenced. I'm your host Sasha, and my goal here is to get you guys to think critically about where you're currently spending your social media currency. And I do that by digging deep into influencer culture and calling out those who need to be held accountable for their actions. Today I have a bit of an update type video for you. There's been a couple influencers that we have covered who have done some stuff this past week, and I want to share with you guys. I am working on a couple deep dives that are due to be released in the next couple weeks, and they're taking a little bit of time. You know, we got to gather the evidence, the receipts, and stuff like that. So I figured I'd go ahead and give you guys a bit of an update video. We are going to talk about Matt and Abby, and we are also going to see an update on Adrielle Sigler. So let's go, guys. All right, guys, first and foremost, Matt and Abby. Let's follow up on what happened with them. So, as a lot of you probably know, a week ago, they were called out for leaving their two young children in a cruise ship cabin by themselves unattended with just a FaceTime monitor on them. They have since then addressed the allegations, and people aren't buying it. And we're going to go through a little bit of why people aren't buying it. We're going to look at what people are saying about it. But ultimately, the apology, which, yes, the apology video, the infamous apology video, dressed all in white background, white bed, you know, the whole 9 yards. They nailed the influencer apology aesthetic, we could say. The entire video came across as very disingenuous, and it's because it was heavily scripted and rehearsed, you can tell, but also the body language that you're gonna see, it's just, it doesn't make sense. And with what Abby had originally posted on her stories, there's really no room for contention here. But let's go take a look at their apology video now and see how you guys feel, and we'll discuss after and see what other people are saying afterwards. Okay, so here we go. Here is Matt and Abby's recount of what actually happened, allegedly, and what they have to say for it. And this is them apologizing and taking accountability for their actions. So let's take a look and see how you guys feel about it.
Hey everybody, we usually would not be making a video like this, but there is information circulating about us that is completely untrue. So we just wanted to set the record straight, clear the air, because we take our role as parents.
So starting off the bat, completely untrue. We're setting the record straight, okay, guys? There's a bunch of rumors flying around. Don't know how they're rumors when it's discussions of what you posted, but okay.
Extremely seriously, and we love our children more than anything in the entire world, and we're very protective of our kids. So we just got back from a 7-night cruise with Abby's extended family. Where this whole controversy started, I guess, is a few days ago, Abby posted on her Instagram story that we were at dinner FaceTiming the baby monitors while our children were asleep in their staterooms. And people started to speculate and believe that we had left our children alone in their staterooms. And that is just completely untrue, because we had someone with our children at all times on this boat, period.
Completely untrue. I'm going to pull up the post from Abby, the original post. We'll see if there was any room left to assume that someone was with the boys during this time.
I can see where my story did lead to misunderstanding, which is why I ended up deleting it several hours after posting it, is because I could see that it was causing concern and misunderstanding.
And that's the thing too. Then why did you guys take 3, 4, however many days to address it? Why did you not address it right away when the rumors started circulating? Because apparently in the past, when they have left their babies unattended and went to a neighbor's house for dinner, they deleted that story, and she clarified right away, stating that her mom was home. So if that was the case, if it was this big misunderstanding, why did you not immediately clarify? Why did you allow news articles to be written about you? What I think happened is they just didn't think this was irresponsible and that big of a deal. And when they realized that it was extremely negligent and irresponsible to do and post about, which is the funniest part of all of this, they're trying to backpedal now. So, okay, guys.
And I do want to say thank you so much to those of you that were concerned about the safety and well-being of our children. As their parents, that is our first and foremost main concern. But to know that other people share those same concerns for our precious boys, it really means a lot. So thank you. But I do want to clarify that we have not, would not, will not ever leave our children unattended. We would never ever want to.
We have not, will not, would not ever leave our children unattended. You notice how she can't look at the camera whenever she's addressing the fact that her children are her number one priority, that they care about their children. The only time she's looked at the camera was to thank the audience for looking out for her children.
To put them in harm's way in any way. I do want to clear up the baby monitor situation. Our children sleep in these blackout tents every single night, whether or not we're traveling or if we're just home. And a feature of these tents is they have a spot for a sound machine and a spot for a monitor. And even if we are sleeping in the exact same room as our boys, we always turn their monitor on so we can watch and see what's happening inside the tent, make sure they're okay, see if they've fallen asleep or if they've woken up. We just love to have eyes on them. We're always concerned about them. And so that's why even when we would, tag team and take turns at family dinner, we would turn on FaceTime so we could also have eyes on them as their parents.
So even when we would tag team and FaceTime them at dinner, we would always have eyes on them as their parents because, I guess that's important.
If we weren't the ones, attending them in that moment.
And we're so thankful to them, you guys, because we spent a lot of our time on this boat in our staterooms manning the baby monitors. And if it wasn't for Abby's extended family, we really would have not gotten a chance to really get out of the room. So thank you to them.
That's so
silly.
Thank
you to you guys for listening to what we had to say. It really means a lot to us. And we appreciate you listening to the very end.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's what they had to say about that, and people aren't buying it, and I'm not buying it. Had they sat down and said, you know what, we messed up, we're sorry, we realize how irresponsible that was, they would have had a much different response. So let's go see what people are saying about it.
Hey baby, you're safe. You're so brave.
Why would you post that to the internet? Oh my god. Fun fact, new family we're covering. Wanted to show you guys this one because this basically sums up how people feel about the apology video, and it made me laugh. So let's watch it together because this is ridiculous. Okay.
We normally don't make videos like this or have to take accountability for our actions as parents, but we are losing YouTube subscribers. So we take our role as parents on the internet very seriously, and we just got back from a 7-day cruise with Abby's extended family, and Abby posted to her social media photos of us leaving the kids, our 1-year-old, babies, our 1-year-old and 2-year-old alone in the stateroom.
I know that I said we were at family dinner with my entire family while the kids were in the stateroom sleeping alone, and we were watching them from the monitors, but there was somebody in the room watching them. We would never, ever, ever leave them attended to.
No, it's unattended. It's unattended.
No, we're telling them that somebody was.
So tell them. So tell them.
We're telling them that somebody was in the room.
So tell them that they were attended to.
I said attended to.
What Abby's trying to say is that somebody was there watching the kids in the room. We tipped the bellhop like $100.
There was
stay in the
somebody
room.
there watching them.
And the bellhop
And thank you so much.
hasn't been able to comment because the bellhop doesn't speak English. Someone was in there watching the kids, and we were
And thank you
FaceTiming them
guys so much for being concerned and caring about our children.
Right. Thank you guys for watching
Thank
until
you
the
so
end.
much.
Bye, guys. That went pretty good. I feel like that went pretty well. Where are the kids?
So that's that. This is exactly how it happened. Legit. So great. So for what it's worth, and of course this is just hearsay, apparently this is YouTuber headlines, I was across their room on the cruise and I can confirm that they did leave their children alone. Now, of course, that can be anyone just trying to throw them under the bus, right? We have to be careful about that. But so here's the original story that Abby had posted, and this is why people aren't believing it. So we ended up taking them for 5 nights, I'm assuming to the kids club she's talking, and it became apparent that they weren't enjoying it, and therefore we weren't either, or maybe she's talking about taking them to dinner. So then we switched our dinner time to after their bedtime and FaceTime the monitors while we ate. Baby monitors don't work on board unless you're like 10 feet away. And that worked out much better for everyone. I'm sorry, there's no room for error there. She said that it wasn't working out, so she switched dinner time to after they were asleep so that they could FaceTime the monitors and everyone could eat in peace. There are 8,000 1,000 different ways to word this if that wasn't the case. If someone was sitting there watching them, they can easily say that. So it wasn't working taking them, so we decided to just switch off and check in on the monitors while someone else was watching, just to make sure everything was okay. That makes more sense than completely neglecting to say that someone was with them. You posted this as some big life hack, traveling with toddlers, and are trying to backpedal and gaslight people into thinking that's the case. And it's not working. Now they are saying someone was in the room with the kids. They're gonna have to say who to make this story believable. If someone was actually watching the kids, they would have said who it was. Abby, girl, bye. You know for a fact you left them alone. You can tell she's been crying her eyes out and Matt is pissed at her, which a lot of people are actually expressing concern over Matt's reactions to this, because he's very resentful towards his wife for a lot of stuff, but also he seems to have some pent-up rage and anger issues and stuff like that, and people are worried. People are worried that since Abby posted it and it's not his account or anything, he doesn't have control over it, and she messed up, that he's really blaming her, considering the stuff he's blamed her for in the past, like, you know, birthing his son. Awkward. Wearing white LMAO. Peak apology videos. Yeah, and no makeup, of course. We love our kids, but complained about them for the entire week and how they were ruining everything. They're 100% lying. Let's list all the things they never addressed, shall we? 1, they said the kids weren't alone but never stated who was with them. 2, they said they would have had to FaceTime the monitors if someone was in the room with them. What? Oh, they never said why they would have had to FaceTime the monitors. Yes, they did. They said because they love to have eyes on them and check in on them. 3, never addressed why Abby made the 10 feet away comment. I believe they know they majorly messed up and know that this is a literal crime. Fessing up to what they did would not only cause them bad press, but it could literally cause a CPS visit, and they know this. They would never admit the truth because they have too much to lose. Instead, they choose to act nonchalant, example the random unrelated Instagram stories while we knew they were under fire, and lie to make it seem like everyone else is just crazy. I don't believe them for 1 second. The script seems to be towards the left, their right of the camera. Oh yes, you're right. Plus Matt and especially Abby are having difficulty making eye contact with the camera/lens, something they do for a living. To me, that screams lies and guilt. The way this was phrased is very telling. Very general statements about how they would never leave their kids alone. Their whole family helped with childcare the entire week, but they didn't give any specific clarifications about this one instance. They gave more information relating to the things people have brought up, alluding to the fact that they did not leave their children alone that night without having explicitly stated, so that they can't be liable for the fallout. They laid out a bunch of relevant information to lead people to draw their own conclusions. Definitely a PR move, talking around the point but not saying anything specifically incriminating, not technically lying but also not telling the full truth. Notice how they say we would never leave them alone, not we never left them alone. IDK feels very leading, like they're trying to disprove a hypothetical instead of proving a truth. Or maybe I'm reading too far into this. So everyone is saying the same thing. They're all saying it's BS, it's a PR move. They didn't take any accountability, and they're lying. You can tell by their body language, by them wearing white, trying to look innocent and pure, the no makeup, it's more relatable. The fact that she couldn't look at the camera, the language, everything is lies. So let's move on now and talk about Adrielle Sigler, who had CPS knocking at her door apparently this past weekend. So let's hop over to the sub and figure out what's going on, because that's all I've heard. That's fun. Good for her.
Because someone put me under so much mental anguish and stress, it's now affecting my work. As a result, I think I have a lawsuit on my hands, and I think I'm gonna have to see a therapist because of this harassment and mental anguish, and get a testimony from my therapist, who will give to my lawyer, who I had a long talk with on the phone yesterday, my lawyer who I'm going to call back next week after I see a therapist next week. And once all of this is documented, I am filing a lawsuit for mental anguish against a very specific agency in New York State. No one's work schedule should be interfered with because of stress and mental anguish, because of harassment and bullying.
Oh my gosh, she is straight delusional. Like, it's insane. She's next level.
You have to do the right thing. Okay? I know that following your job and making sure children are safe is to do the right thing, but I would recommend that you hold these people accountable for filing false reports. You're letting this abuse happen, all this cyberbullying, by being a third party to those TikTok bullies. So if I were you, I would do the right thing and forward that false report to the New York State headquarters in Albany. They need to be held accountable.
You're definitely welcome to do that on your own time.
I have to do that?
Yes, our job is not to prosecute people for calling in reports. Our job is only to investigate them.
Then how do you feel about false reports?
It's not my job to have an opinion on what people call in. It's just my job to investigate.
In New York State, it is protocol, if you receive a false CPS report, to forward that false report to the CPS headquarters of New York State
Is it?
in Albany.
And how do you know it's a false report? You don't even, like, was this, oh my gosh.
This woman admits on the phone that she's not doing that and tells me I can do that in my free time. That's against the terms and conditions of her job. If New York State CPS headquarters is not made aware of false reports, no one's ever held accountable. It is a misdemeanor in New York State to file 3 false CPS reports. But these people will never be held accountable if the CPS caseworkers aren't forwarding the false CPS reports to the headquarters in Albany. I've had at least 20 false CPS.
So why aren't you forwarding them, Adrielle? Why aren't you forwarding them like she said you could do to hold those people accountable? Why is it on other people to hold who you think are bullies accountable?
CPS reports made against me. And none of these people filing the false reports, these crazy TikTok fans of mine, are never held accountable.
I don't think they're fans.
Because the CPS employees are failing to do their job. They're being negligent. And me and my family are suffering as a result. What's an example of a false report? I'll tell you. I've had CPS search my house for a newborn baby. I've had CPS search for a child that doesn't exist, some 6-year-old named Maisabel. I've had CPS ask disturbing questions to my children, and I'm not going to repeat them. And it goes on and on. And it keeps happening because the CPS workers are neglecting to do their job.
I feel like it keeps happening because you keep posting stuff to the internet. If it's actually false reports, I feel like that's why it keeps happening. Don't do that. Don't touch the poo. Don't interact with anyone. I don't condone that. I don't condone interacting or reaching out to or anythinging anyone. I condone ghosting and blocking. That's what you should do. Unless there's actual proof and evidence of abuse, then yeah. But it's very hard for us to assume off of 30-second clips, 40-second clips, unless we're actually seeing the abuse happen.
One in that phone conversation admits it. She's gonna have to be retrained of how to be in accordance with the law. I'm at an ice rink. I've said my piece, and I'll be talking to my lawyer very soon. Thank you all for watching.
Jesus.
Were you at my house yesterday?
Yes, I'm your worker.
You went to my kid's school today, and I asked you not to.
You didn't ask me to go to their schools yesterday.
Right. Why did you go to my kid's school today?
So it's part of my job to interview kids?
Okay. The things you asked them weren't very nice. I don't want my kids to be, this is what I'm saying. In Jamestown, when they would go to their school, they would ask them disturbing questions. No child should have to sit in an office with an adult and be asked the questions you asked them today.
Okay.
How would you feel if you had
those questions that we have to ask, so I have to abide by your state standards.
My son said that you asked him if he got jumped, he said yes, and then that you asked him why he got jumped. Is there any reason someone should get jumped?
Okay, so this is funny. I watched this and I was like, well, no, there's no excuse to jump someone and go through with jumping someone, but there's a reason that he got jumped for sure. Pretty serious one.
Like, he got robbed. Why would you ask a kid why they got jumped? There's no excuse for getting jumped.
I understand that it's definitely not something you want, but I would think that there's got to be a reason for everything, right? It could be maybe somebody just wanted to rob him. Did he do something to somebody else?
That is a video of a CPS worker asking, what did a child do to get jumped? After she received a report from a different county.
She didn't say he deserved it. She was asking why it happened or if it was just a random happenstance. There's always a reason someone got attacked, whether it's like, oh, I was just wrong place, wrong time, or I set up the fight because I essayed someone's little sister. There's always a reason. She's not saying he deserved it. You're twisting words here.
A county I
Or
used
trying
to live
to.
in called Chautauqua. I used to live in Jamestown, New York, where we were being stalked. My son got jumped, robbed, and brutally assaulted by a group of teenagers, 11 in total. When I pressed charges, they started stalking, harassing us. It got so bad I had to put my son temporarily into a homeschooling program and find a new place to live pronto. Since then, the friends and family members
For $30,000 as well, pronto.
of those kids who jumped, robbed, and brutally assaulted my son have been harassing us and cyberbullying us. Me in particular, because my son's not on social media. So someone...
Well, thank goodness for that. And you're a grown woman who's admitting to being bullied by 11-year-olds on the internet. 14, however old they are. That's silly.
this week filed a CPS report against my son, accusing him of assaulting a child and arson. We don't even live in Jamestown, okay? I don't know what the hell is going on.
You haven't lived in Jamestown for 5 minutes. This could have happened like a couple weeks ago.
CPS of Jamestown, New York knows that we moved. And they decided to forward that false report to the county we live in currently. They just went on a whim and guessed where they think we live. So CPS shows up at my house.
You think CPS isn't okay.
Walks right in because our doors were unlocked. I had a house cleaner here.
There's no way. There's no way that they got there and walked in without knocking. Like, there's no way.
Adrielle Sigler lives here. The house cleaner says, oh, she does, but she's not home right now.
Unless the door was open and left open and they hollered in, hey, is Adrielle Sigler? Like, stop it, Adrielle.
I'm totally unaware that I don't want people just... I should have talked to the house cleaner beforehand.
No, that's dumb. This is dumb. This isn't even believable. Do people believe this? Are people believing and supporting this nonsense? Because that's not even believable. That a government worker would just let themselves into someone's house? Like, come on.
Day for this to happen. And the house cleaner said she does live here, but she's not home right now, just while I'm cleaning. So the CPS woman waited outside of my house for an entire hour until I got home. She sees me pull into my driveway. So she gets out of her car and walks up my driveway after she saw I walked in my house. She walks upstairs and walks right into my kitchen again.
No,
Twice she walked.
No, she didn't. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way that she just walked into your house.
My house without permission.
No.
I was having such a good day. I thought she was part of the cleaning company. I'm like, hey, are you here to help? And she's like, no, I'm with CPS. I'm like,
but you needed to crowdsource $30,000 to move, but you can hire cleaning services? Must be nice. I wish I could afford cleaning services for my tornadoes.
Go outside and have a talk. Blah, blah, blah. She asked if I know what this is about. I said, I'll show you screenshots. Every day people are commenting CPS on my live streams, my videos. I'm an influencer. I have over 1 million followers. People find it amusing and entertaining to file false CPS reports. It went on and on for 2 years in my former city of Jamestown, New York, where we once lived. We moved here 2 months ago. She says, I don't have TikTok, so I don't know how that works because I don't have TikTok. Can I see your home? She asked to see my home. I said, yes, but to prevent what I went through the first time around in Jamestown, New York,
you have permission to come into my house. This will be the first and last time. If these false reports keep coming in, you're going to need a warranted police. So I let her in my house. I take her to my bedroom. Don't know why I did that. The first room, I'm like, oh, this is my bedroom, my office, my closet, my bathroom, but I don't know why we're in my bedroom right now. You probably want to see the kids' rooms. Here are my kids' rooms, their bathroom, here's the kitchen, blah, blah, blah. So we go back outside, because this was an awkward conversation to have in front of the house cleaner who was at the house for the first time. And she proceeds to say she needs to interview my kids. I said, how do you want to go about doing that? And she said, I can interview them in school, or right here, I can wait for them to get home. It's up to you. I said, no, not doing this again. I'm not going through all of these false reports again. At this point, I had no...
Did you clap in her face? Because...
what the report was about. So she asks me, do you want to know what the report was? I said, nope. I can already imagine because...
Do you remember when she went to the police station and was like, no, we're not talking to you, and then left and was like, I wonder what they were going to ask me. Guys, what were they going to ask me? Like, you could have just said, like, what are the questions and decided if you wanted to answer them. Or exercise your right to silence. Oh, God, she's... something else.
Because I see the comments and the videos on a daily basis.
Unhinged.
It's false. And she says, okay, do you want my card? And I'm like, no, thank you. I said, was this a report from Jamestown? And she evaded the question. She said, well, Jamestown was your primary residence, and now we'll add this as your primary residence because you moved. I said, how do you know Adrielle Sigler lives here? She's like, because we're here. I said, how do you know I'm Adrielle Sigler? And she says, oh, well, because after the report came through, I downloaded TikTok, made a profile, and looked up your profile, and I matched your name to your face. And you're the person from the pictures, from the TikTok.
No.
I'm like, okay.
No.
Okay. Fast forward.
No.
She didn't respect my wishes. No. Mm-mm. She went to my kids' schools, and she interviewed them anyway.
She's like really confident in her lies. And that is terrifying, to be honest. The level of confidence that this person has to be able to spew the bullshit that she spews is fucking terrifying and should terrify everyone.
And I told my kids, if they show up, tell them, call my mom, talk to the lawyer, but they answer questions, and it doesn't even matter. It's just the point that this is a false report upon false report upon false reports upon a history of dozens and dozens of false reports. It's inhumane, unethical, and wrong.
If it was false reports upon false reports upon false reports and they've never found anything concerning, there would be a flag on your file and it wouldn't be this big of a deal. It's the same thing when people get swatted. If you're a YouTuber and you get swatted, you can phone your local police station and say, hey, I'm a YouTuber. People are assholes and decide that it's a good idea to swat people. Please call me before you approach my house. Everything is likely fine after the first time it happens. So, like,
At the end of that phone conversation, she empathized with me. The CPS worker said, let me play it.
I get it. If I was in your situation, I would be really frustrated too.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. All right.
No problem.
Well, have a nice weekend. Okay, so if you were in my shoes, and you were being bullied, and people were falsely accusing you of things over and over and over again, she has the tools to pull up all the false reports from the past. She can be the one to put a stop to this cycle and report those people to the New York State headquarters of CPS in Albany, New York, to hold them accountable for filing false reports.
It could be anonymous. Does she know that you don't have to give your information? Like, nobody's going to be held accountable because they didn't give their real names, Adrielle. How does she not realize how ridiculous this is?
And I really, truly hope that this woman takes 10 minutes out of her day to do the right thing. Unlike Jamestown, New York, who took advantage of those false reports and abused their powers. But given the circumstance that she had the audacity to ask my son if he got jumped, when he answered yes, she proceeded to question why. What do you think? I'll leave it open, an open ending here. Comment below. Do you think she'll make the right decision? Is there any hope left in humanity?
Good God, no, I'm watching your face spew a bunch of bullshit. There is definitely no hope left in humanity.
Friday night, I missed a huge opportunity. I had a scheduled reserve match from my manager, who put me on the Road to Superstars leaderboard match board.
Oh, wah, boo-hoo. Go cry about it. Oh my God. Okay. Adrielle is a celebrity and CPS is abusing their power.
CPS investigating a celebrity 20 times in a row after the first 10 reports were false?
You're not a celebrity.
That's abuse of power. The CPS employee of Jamestown, New York loved me. She is a huge fan of my TikTok content and my live streams.
That is a conflict of interest. Very unbiased. Very unbiased.
A CPS worker said that she and her colleagues loved when false reports came into her office to investigate me. The CPS worker said that she and her colleagues created a nickname for me called the TikTok Mom, and they all wanted dibs who got to investigate me, so that they wouldn't have to actually go to shithole apartments where there were shithead parents that they would have to deal with while under investigation.
This is so dumb.
Every time they came to my house.
This isn't true either. I don't believe you. Not even a little bit.
They said it was a nice little break from actual work. That's why they said they loved accepting those reports. They thought it was really nice meeting me in person, and that it's terrible all of the...
You don't think that's creepy? You actually don't think that's kind of creepy that a CPS worker is like, yeah, I'm gonna take this false report because I want to go meet you, Adrielle. This isn't better, girl. This is not better.
All of the online bullying they see, but that's what part of the job is, being a TikTok influencer. And this CPS worker in Jamestown told me that even when my kids are 18 and become adults and move out, if these false reports keep coming into her office, she'll still have to investigate them. Even if I don't even have kids, she'll still have to investigate them. That's a lie. She was more than aware that all of these reports were false because she had been in my house at least 20 times. She had interviewed my children at least 20 times. And she accepted them just so that she could get a break from shithead parents and dealing with those shitty apartments. Quoted, all the while, every time a report was unfounded and false, she was negligent to forward it to the New York State headquarters, who would then make the final determination at holding the person who made the false report accountable.
No.
She would never do that. Abusing their powers. So meanwhile, I moved. My son got jumped, robbed, assaulted. We had to pick up and start a new life somewhere else. I moved like 2 hours away. Before I moved,
apparently she moved like 45 minutes away.
Begged me for my new address. Oh, and I had her personal cell phone number. Yeah, we used to text and talk on the phone quite often. She would almost act like a friend towards me. She would talk about her dogs. She told me all of her dogs' names. Okay, so fast forward, it's time for me to move. She comes to my house. Like literally the day after I went on TikTok and said I'm moving, she's at my house saying there's no report and begs me to give my new address. I couldn't do it. 2 months after I moved, like 2.5 months after I moved, she received a report and forwarded it to the county she believes I live in. I am not going through this rodeo again in the new city I live in.
You think you can hide from CPS when you're a problematic person who's on their radar? You actually think you can move and just hide from CPS? You know, the online bullies got your address in about 2.5 seconds after you moved because you posted a video of yourself outside or outside your house or whatever the case may be. So like, it's not that hard. I'm pretty sure you registered your kids to the school board. They can probably find them that way. Like, this is silly. She's silly.
This time around, I'm setting boundaries. I let them in my house once, so that's the last time they need to ever come to my house. If you've been in my house once, there's no need for you to come in. And they're lucky I let them in my house, honestly, because I don't even have to do that. I did not give them permission to interview my children. They did it anyway. I found a lawyer. If this shit keeps happening where I now live currently, it's going to be a lawsuit. Because I have all the documentation from Jamestown, and I will keep documenting every little fucking seconds in my new city. Not putting up with this again. Not putting up with this again. For those of you saying all reports must be investigated, it's a lie. If it's more than evident that the reports are false the first time, second, and third time, they have the discretion. CPS workers have the discretion whether to pursue an investigation. If they've been in my house...
So then why are they still pursuing the investigation? Obviously, there's still red flags that are present. It's so easy to poke holes in her logic because her logic makes no logic. It is what it is. Okay, that's enough of that. She's just repeating herself as she always does. So yeah, that's fun. Adrielle is being stalked by CPS. Cool. That is all I have for you. Matt and Abby are 100% lying. And look at that. Adrielle Sigler is also 100% lying. It is so incredibly obvious. And I'm going to do some more research about false reports and CPS and stuff like that. But there's no way that they would still be pursuing you if there was no issues. If everything was kosher, if everything was good, if they've investigated, exactly. They can use their own discretion. So why are they still after you? Obviously, there's still red flags. And I guess we'll see what comes of Matt and Abby's moving on. I heard they uploaded to the podcast, because of course they did. So let's just go take a quick look at comments over there. Right quick before we go. 4 days ago, there's not a single negative comment. Not one negative comment. It's playing. I didn't mean for it to continue playing. It was supposed to be paused. Yeah, not okay. That's silly. Obviously, they are heavily filtering, or, the word cruise, the word just everything. It's just all deleted instantly, I'm sure. But whatever. They are clearly choosing to just sweep it under the rug. They addressed it. They said their piece, and that's that. They're telling the truth. Now move on, because they were really sad. It's insane to me that they're basically just not going to have any type of accountability for it. I hope that people continue to unsubscribe. If you guys are subscribed to Matt and Abby or Adrielle, please unsubscribe, unfollow, block, so they stop coming up in your algorithms, and find ways to consume without giving them the clickbucks, the social media currency. It is so incredibly important, because it's the only way to make them go away. It's the only way to have a true impact, is by ghosting. That is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This one was a fun one to make. I like looking in on the people that we talk about. I think it's important to keep up with the behaviors and call them out as we see fit in between the deep dives and stuff like that. So I do hope that you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe before you take off. It really means a lot to me, and it also helps boost my videos into the algorithm so that they get put in front of more eyeballs. And again, I appreciate it at the end of the day. I hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.